All righty. What is up, college baseball fans? Welcome to another episode of the 11.7 podcast brought to you by Home Field Apparel. Use promo code CWS25 for 15% off your first purchase there. I'm rocking the Arkansas Razorbacks throwback jersey that they have on their website right now. And then I did this on purpose. I have my Los Beavs hat on. I have to start. Arkansas struggling. Oregon State struggling. I'm trying to bring those teams back to life. 2018 College World Series style. So, but anyways, yeah, homefieldapparel.com. Check them out. They have all the best college baseball gear, retro gear, and then some new stuff as well. Hats, pullover jerseys, t-shirts, bomber jackets. They got it all. So use promo code CWS25 for 15% off. If you're a YouTube listener, you're probably wondering why Dimitri is knocked out cold right now, sleeping to my left. Backstory here. He was the first one on the Restream platform that we used to record the pod, and he got on way earlier than we did. It is now probably 5 a.m., 4 a.m. Italian time where he's at, and we just decided to rock with it. We decided just to go with it. So he'll be sleeping right there in the corner until he wakes up. Hopefully he'll wake up during this pod, but odds are probably not. But then I'm also joined by Noah and Jack. Jack is sitting in a hotel in Austin, Texas after the big sweep from the Longhorns. And then Noah is in his room just north of Detroit, Michigan. Is that right? Yep. He's chewing on sunflower seeds, Chinook seeds to be factual. But yeah, guys, great weekend. I missed a lot of games on Saturday as I was at my grandfather's funeral. But then I caught back up. Wheels was great. Wheels on YouTube does a great job of the condensed games. I tried to watch as many as I could, and for the most part, I kept up with things on social media too. So the structure of the show, same as most Sunday night episodes. We're going to talk about the biggest series first. So that includes Texas versus Texas A&M, LSU versus Tennessee, Florida State, and Louisville. I'm trying to think. NC State sweeps Clemson. We'll talk about everything. But after that, we're going to kind of just do a roundtable discussion. What stood out to each one of us this weekend? What we would like to see more of? Which teams are fitting that hot, cold, hot theory, which traditionally wins you a College World Series? And we'll just go from there. We also just released our mid-major top 25. It's live on social media, both Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Uh, not a lot of huge surprises. We welcome back Austin P into the mid-major top 25. Lamar back into the mid-major top 25. But we're really at the point where like those top 6 or 7 teams stand out more than the rest. And we'll dive into all that too. So I've talked enough. Jack is going to do the honors of talking about his experience, Dish Falk Field, Austin, Texas, getting to see the Longhorns sweep a red hot Aggies team, and we're just gonna dive deep into it and discuss it. So, Jack, go ahead.
All right, so I was going to whisper because I was scared to wake up Dimitri, but now I don't have to because I was told about 5 seconds ago that Dimitri, we actually have his computer muted so he can't hear us. I think this might be my favorite thing that's ever happened on this podcast. So, with the number one team in the land sweeping and the rivalry renewed, all 3 games by 1 run, I'm going to start with maybe my favorite storyline of the weekend. And I think you guys know where I'm going with this. For me in particular, this was really special for a multitude of reasons, and I'll dive into them and bore you with all the stories in a second. But maybe my favorite story of the weekend. I know you're listening right now, and I'm so sorry I didn't catch your name. But a young woman, a massive Longhorn fan, after game 2, the Longhorns have just hoisted the trophy. They are rivalry renewed. They are the Lone Star Showdown champions. I hear a, hey, pencil guy, pencil guy. Now, first, I would like to say, anyone who ever sees me at a ball game, like, just know, and I know it sounds probably cliche, it means the world to me when you come say hello and take a picture and want to see the pen. Like, I am never It's just great. And I really do view social media as a diary, and I cannot believe people listen to us and rant about college baseball. It is a true blessing, and it's a really nice pinch. So please continue to say hello. So this young woman, I am so sorry I didn't get to come see you, but I had to go run to do post-game media. And if you're listening, tweet at me, DM us. Please let us know who you are, because this was my favorite maybe moment of the year. Young woman, a Longhorn fan. Jack, pencil guy, Jack. And I look up, I go, hey, what's going on? She goes, hook 'em horns. I go, yeah, let's go. She goes, we can't let Dimitri win the Survivor. And I go, oh, an 11.7 fan. Oh, 11.7 fan, fire me up. We can't do it. We just can't do it. Been a listener for a long time. We just can't do it. I go, that's fantastic. And then she hits me with the line of the year, friends. She goes, we can't have it. As a Texas fan, we can't have it, but dang it, I really want to see the Vols win the national championship. Release the video. And the young man that's sleeping in the top corner of pissing his pants, we've got to see it. And I absolutely lost it. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time, boys. So, ma'am, if you're listening, a diehard true 11.7 fan at that, please hit us up. Because, Ben, it is the hardest I've laughed in a really long time.
We might have to send her the video.
We might have to send you the video, ma'am.
We might have to send her the video.
It was magical. I go, that's a diehard 11.7 faithful. It fired me up. You're right. She might deserve this video.
If I was in your position, I don't know what I would have done, because you had the post game oblos to attend, but we do have the video on our phone. Like,
I don't have it. I don't have it, or else I would have. Is it in the group chat?
You want it?
Yeah, I want it. Yeah,
you want it? No. I would have maybe just gone over there and showed her like a 5-second sneak peek. Like, maybe that's what I would have done.
Where I saw her, we just finished up on-field media. The trophy is walking directly past me. This lady, if you're listening, is a diehard Texas Longhorn fan. It's the first time that Texas has swept Texas A&M since 2010. Obviously, this is just game 2, but the magnitude of this weekend, the trophy's walking right by me. Coach Schlossnagel and the staff are right in front of me. And this incredible human being screams about Dimitri peeing his pants. It was the best. I got to follow that. I have to go do media with that trophy, but I want to sit and talk with you for forever. This is a true 11.7 college baseball faithful. And Ben's showing a little sneak peek.
I have the video. I guess for any new listener or somebody that maybe just picked up college baseball in the last few weeks, Dimitri made a guarantee bet that Texas A&M would not beat Tennessee 2 out of 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. And if they did, he was going to pee himself on the podcast. So it happened. He peed himself on the podcast, and then we gave him an out and said that if Tennessee wins the national championship,
we made him choose whether he wanted the field.
We made him choose. That's right.
Field. Yeah.
And if Tennessee wins the national championship, we get to release the video. Yeah. But if they don't, then the video disappears for at least 8 more months. We might bring it back. We might hold it over his head for a while. But yeah.
Oh man,
that's
No, I'll withdraw what I was going to say.
Okay. All right.
Bite your tongue, sir. Bite your tongue.
Yeah, zip your pants, gentlemen.
Retracting it.
Let's start there. The guarantee of A&M not being able to beat Tennessee, I think, is a perfect segue, because man, this weekend in Austin, boys, was it was a bucket list, to be frank. Going into this thing, I think the whole world was, okay, we're awake. Sorry. We kept the receipts. A&M coming in on an all-time high, weekend series wins against Tennessee, obviously. Arkansas, both on the road, took care of business at home against South Carolina in that crazy 2 Grand Slam game. Like, they're feeling it. They're back. They got their mojo back. Facing off against the number 1 team in the country. Schlossnagel, the rivalry, the hatred, the vitriol reaction, also real. That to be in person for it was a true blessing, and I know that. So for Texas to have done what they did, with the announcement of no Jared Spencer for the rest of the season, Golden Spikes hopeful Max Ballou not available, it really puts into perspective our sport, doesn't it, boys? Like we were kind of talking about it off air, like how pure this thing is. There is a level, right, of talent that I can't even fathom. And it's why, like, I know fans get on me about being like, oh man, you suck these teams off. No, I was a really bad ball player. I know how difficult this is. And you understand the levity of having a coach go, I believe in you. You understand how important it is for that confidence in between the ears when you step in between the white lines. And what Texas is doing right now with a large in part the exact same ball club from last year. Schloss was very emphatic about. I want to thank David Pearson and his staff, man. They raised incredible men, and now I get to reap the benefits of their labor, of them in their late in their career. Jalen Flores, and Ryan Galvan, and Kimball Schlusler, like these dudes that had been there, had done that coaching change. They go, we're going to stick it out. That's what playing for this university means to me. To watch that accumulate into this weekend, right? You go, whew, 19-2, boys. It's the second fastest an SEC team has ever reached that number. What they are doing is historic. And it's the same boys from a year ago that got trounced in that regional by this team, the Aggies. Now, I want to start with Texas A&M first, even though I did just kind of go on a good little monologue there. The Aggies are in a position where I was barking from the trees going, hey, this team's probably going to host if they take care of business this weekend. Finally back in the top 25, they get swept. People are screaming about how they're back on the bubble and will they not get in and yada, yada, right? They lost all 3 games by 1 run. They hit 7 baseballs over 104 miles per hour that were all 7 caught on the warning track, right? Saw the words chirping back and forth between Gavin Cash, a guy that's a career 300 hitter. He hit 3 baseballs, 104 miles per hour that were caught at the warning track. Right, that was just a frustration moment, I think, internally for him, and he let it boil over. This team is just fine. I have said it before. I will say it again. I will say it when they're back in a regional, beating the heck out of a team as a 2 or 3 seed. Like, can you imagine after playing that Aggie team? Ryan Prager, big game Prager, was fantastic on Friday night. Lampkin was great on Saturday, and Patton was awesome for him today on Sunday. They're going to be just fine. But what is happening in that Texas dugout is something that I think all coaches around the country should look at. Jim Schlossnagle is a winner. He's a winner everywhere he's gone. But I want to brag on Max Weiner because what this pitching staff is doing with the injuries that they have sustained conceptually doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. A plus B equals C. Showed up on Thursday. They rolled out the red carpet. It was a pinch yourself moment as I got to conduct close to 13 to 14 interviews, and you get to help tell these stories, and the same words and verbiage were repeated, but not because it was scripted, but because they felt it. Wiffle ball in the backyard. Love this team. Love these boys. Love having fun again. And I pulled up, and Max Weiner's got he's got Flores on the mound who started today on Sunday, and they're shirtless, sun tanning. They got the music going. They're screaming and yelling. It's the most intense, fun, laid-back bullpen I've ever seen. I go, there it is. No wonder, right? No wonder. And it's a Texas team that sweeps. They fire the cannons. And, man, it was just a magical weekend. This place and the dish, you can feel that sense of tradition. The drone show on Friday night was maybe the most insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life to kick off the weekend. And of course, it comes after a win. I did grab this hat because I wanted to rep love to the boys. Occupy left field, the tailgate out in left field. My guy, Mark, talk about a dude that loves baseball. Yeah, these guys are insane. Interviewed a man, Scott Wilson, who's been to 1,584 consecutive Texas baseball games. Hasn't missed a football game since 1977. Has not missed a baseball game since April of 2000.
Holy crap, man.
The pride, the tradition is back. I never say Texas is back because that's different. But man, it was cool to see. Boys, I know I went a little long, but it was
I'll stem off of this right away, and you might be able to pick up on this too. Do you guys know how many hits Jace Laviolette had in this series?
I do.
Right?
One. He went 1 for 9, walked 3 times, scored only once, no ribbies.
Yeah.
That's to Max Weiner and that pitching staff.
Yep. Yeah. You don't think those fall inter squads and simulated games, like you don't think Max and the boys knew how to pitch him? And there's something to be said because he was in a lot of big moments, but Caden Sorrell was nuts. He makes a Superman diving play. That's one of the best plays I've ever seen in person. And I saw freaking Cam Canarella almost do a backflip over the wall to rob a home run last week. And Caden Sorrell goes freaking Jim Edmonds basket catch by. It was insane. Then he hits a game-tying homer, but there's just freaking magic in that Longhorns dugout. That home run today by Adrian Rodriguez, 46-degree launch angle, and the wind just picks up, and you're going, ain't no way. Ain't no way with how hard Texas A&M has bit the baseball. They're going to win a game like that. And they did, man. And it was they just find ways to win in a lot of different games. If you just said Jared Spencer goes down and you win 2-1, 3-2, and then obviously by a run again today, and these pitcher goes, you're going, hey, what the hell? Ruger Riojas has become one of my favorite players in college baseball. The stash, the flow on Friday night, having to step into that role, throws an ephus in the second inning. Like, these boys are just having fun. And there's a reason they're the number one team in the country. Insanely talented. So I'm not underwhelming on that moment, by talking about like the culture, but they're insanely talented. And it's, man, Texas being good in college baseball is good for the sport. Ben, you are truly like you're the purest college baseball fan I've ever met in my life. It's like inspiring to be around you. I'm sure you can attest to it being from Houston. Like, when Texas is good, college baseball's got a little bit of a umph to it.
1,000%. Yeah, there's a handful of college baseball teams that, like, when they're good and rolling, it just makes the sport so much better. But
yeah.
Jack, to piggyback off of what you said, because I'm more of a big picture guy, and I think there's positive and negative takeaways for both teams, both Texas and Texas A&M from this weekend. And like, some of them might be a stretch, but we're thinking big picture here. So if you're a Texas Longhorn fan, obviously the positives this weekend is, one, you got to shut up a ton of Aggie fans who were just bickering in your mentions online, maybe just, causing you some frustrations or irritations. So you get to just shut them up and say, hey, we swept you. We're on pace to go 25-4 or whatever, 26-4 in SEC play. We're going to be the number one team in the country when the regionals when the regionals get selected on Selection Monday. We're 45 RPI points ahead of number 2 and 178 RPI points right now ahead of number 3. So you got to love where you're at. Number 1 overall seed. The negative is, and I know it's crazy to say there's a negative with Texas, but there is. You lose your Friday night guy for the season. Jared Spencer has been amazing for you. You can't overlook that. No matter how much you can replace him with, maybe extra innings here or there from guys out of the bullpen, starters that can step up, like, you're never going to fully replace him and his aura he has on the mound. Another negative potentially is, hey, we've seen this before. We've seen it before. 2021 Arkansas doesn't lose an SEC series all year. Unanimous number 1 team in the nation. They win the SEC tournament. They go on and struggle a little bit in the regional, but they win the regional at home, and then they lose a super regional to NC State. Fast forward 2022, Tennessee is 50-7 at the end of the regular season, 25-5 in SEC play. Don't lose an SEC. I think they lost one SEC weekend to like Alabama
Kentucky.
or somebody. Kentucky. But like 25-5 SEC record. They win the SEC tournament championship. They win the regional, and then where they kind of struggled a little bit. And then they go to super regional and lose to Notre Dame. So, like, history isn't always on the side of the best regular season team in the SEC. I'm not saying this should scare you because every season's different, but there is some facts that, like, you don't want to be the unanimous number 1 team in the country just running through the best conference in America. So, like, keep that in the back of your mind, because I promise you, if A&M goes further in the postseason than you do, this weekend means nothing. It means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So, like, if we are picking positives and negatives, those would be my takeaways there. For Texas A&M, the positive is, hey, we didn't play our best baseball. Our guys gave it their all. We lose 3 one-run games to the unanimous number 1 team in the country on the road. Like, you know what? If the selection committee doesn't put us in the tournament because of that, like, whatever. We messed up the first 8 weeks of the season. So it's like that's where it boils down to. This week really means nothing.
Yeah.
The positive though is like they were all close losses, and for the most part, like winnable games. Just Texas wins the big moments, and their bullpen just pitches a little bit better than yours does. The negative is like, hey, like it is crunch time. These last 3 regular season weeks mean a lot. You can't go 0-9, 1-8, 2-7. Like you got to go 4-5 or better, and then you still have to perform well in the SEC tournament.
I'll add some pros and cons when it comes to gameplay, just to tail onto you. Pro, the starting rotation was great. In SEC play, it had been a little bumpy. There had been a couple of speed bumps. Prager hadn't been the Prager of last year, where he was just smooth sailing through SEC. On the con side, it got a hit with runners on base and runners in scoring position. The first 2 games specifically, they had plenty of chances, and they just weren't able to get runners across home plate. So, yeah, I didn't want to interrupt completely,
No, you're
but
good.
I wanted to tail on to that.
Out to your point too, Noah, like if you were there, all those big moments where you feel the stadium rise to get behind their pitcher, dude, there were so many times where like A&M scorched baseballs right at people, right? And I want to shout this guy out because he's a freaking unicorn. The numbers that he is putting up are insane. If there was the most valuable player in the country, this guy could win it as a freshman. Dude, what Dylan Volantis does for them out of the pen is not to say that
I had to do a triple take and say, is this guy really a true freshman?
Don't buy it. He's coming in going, don't swing at this breaking ball in the dirt, I dare you. And it's starting at dude's shoulders and bro, he was unfazed by the moment, right? Like, so you credit, hey, you struggle with runners in scoring position. Big game Prague is so back. Like, I don't know if there's a guy in the country that I'd rather have than 1-8 because he's just got that, like, I'm going to let it hang on the rubber tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But Texas got these dudes that just roll through, and you're like, man. Oh, but yeah, sorry, no, go ahead.
No, you mentioned Volantis, and like they showed it on the broadcast nonstop during game 2 and game 3. He's got 10 saves this season. All of them are in SEC play, by the way, guys. They have 19 SEC wins. They have 13 saves in SEC play. Only 6 of the SEC games have been decided in what I think some would call dominant fashion. So I think when a lot of people are thrown out like a 2022 comparison to Tennessee, I want to be like, hey, no. Like these 2 teams' identities are totally different. Texas is not like Tennessee to me. When I think of that 2022 team, I loved it because it brought a lot of new people into college baseball. They had a lot of swagger. They were dominant on the bump, and they hit bombs, and they let you know about it. This Texas team is nothing like that. Like, and I mean that as a compliment. 1 through 9, they can all get the job done. I wouldn't say like all 1 through 9 are going to hit a ball 480 like that Tennessee team did, but they come up with the clutch hit when they need it most. On the mound, they've got 10 dudes, or I don't know if it's 10 dudes, but everybody with at least 10 innings thrown has an ERA sub 5, and there's only one guy with an ERA over 350 in that group. Like, all those guys are excellent, and they are really good in the field too. They're top 30 nationally in fielding percentage. They don't beat themselves. So yeah, I think this Texas team is actually even harder to beat than that Tennessee team because they aren't going to make a little mental mistake with over exuding themselves passionately and all that, because this team just 2 years ago or last year got beat up by that A&M team in a regional. Like they've been at the low of the low, and now they're running the shit, but they don't want to go back to where they were. They are riding that high, and I think it's a testament to this coaching staff, because you already talked about Max Wiener, but Schlossman, when he's got good pitching, he wins. That bottom line, his teams always hit, and most of them fielded pretty well. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Noah. They're not 2022 Tennessee. They're really not even 2021 Arkansas. Where we can dive into this later on in the year, but they have their own identity, and they're really just, in my opinion, like a better version of 2024. 2024 Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Like they're Texas A&M from last year, but they're winning more games. Like they're winning these close games, and the bullpen is just a tad bit better. So,
I think they could be 2022 Texas A&M.
That makes
if
sense.
you remember that team.
Yeah, I do. That team, I don't know.
This seems better. I'll tell you what. This I think a lot of people that were watching at home and don't watch a lot of college baseball are probably like ready for more like crazy college baseball moments. To your point about the defense, Noah, that may have been the best defensive series of college baseball
Oh my God.
I've ever seen in my life. I want to use this as a segue because I know we could talk about this shit all night. I could probably do a 4-hour podcast by myself about this damn thing. How about this for a content idea? I want to start doing top 10 for college baseball, release it every morning. I'll do the voiceover for it. Have fans and listeners send in their 10 favorite plays, and then I'll do it every morning. Might take a while. Like, I kind of love the idea of it. I want to feed it off of you guys, see what you think. Because I think I might do one tomorrow and do all 10 plays from this game yesterday. It was stupid. Dude,
It was every inning.
Every inning. That A&M defense, every single outfielder made 2 plays that I legit could go top 3 play on top 10 tonight game. Keel made 2. Laviolette robbed a homer and a diving play. And then the 2 Sorrell plays were so insanely stupid that by the end of the night after the homer, I'm going, it could have been Montgomery, the number 1 pick last year. Laviolette's going to be the number 1 pick this year. Caden Sorrell's going to be the number 1 pick next year. And everyone's pissed off that I'm saying it. That kid's a freak. But the top 10 segment idea, what do you think, boys? Because I think there might be a niche for it. And I think as long as the viewers feed the videos,
I really like it. Because you'll, in no time, maybe next season, beginning of next season, you'll have fans tagging you on, Pacific University highlights. And I mean it as a good thing because of the audience that Ben and Dimitri have built. Like, they are going to do the hard work for you. You just got to put together the clips, and we'll put it out on the 11.7 account.
Wait, you know where you can get those clips? Synergy.
There we go.
Got all the clips.
That's a testament, though. Like, we just went 17 minutes on this series. We didn't even talk about the most controversial topic of the series.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned.
We can't move from this series until I get to rant on this. Please let me go.
No, I was just going to say, like, I know we haven't talked about Shadur Sanders like once yet. It's been 27 minutes and Shadur's name hasn't even come up yet.
Yeah. So, guys, in game 2, Will Gasparino, who I love, I'm a huge Will Gasparino fan since weekend 1 when he goes off in Globe Life. Like, now I'm locked in. I'm paying attention to you every single weekend. So, I mean, I don't dislike the guy at all, but none of what happens with Gavin Cash happens without Gasparino just poking the bear a little bit, just antagonizing or instigating is probably the better word there. Running off from center field after the inning ends, Gavin Cash, I think it was a fly out or something like that. And then Kash turns, and these two have history because Gasparino trucked him down the first base line trying to run out a hard ground ball against Texas Tech when Kash was with the Red Raiders last season. And so those two have history. Obviously, Kash turns around. Now he's spouting at Gasparino. All of the Longhorns now get on the top step of the dugout. They're all screaming at Kash. Kash is getting hot. That from Kash doesn't happen without Gasparino. Yet Kash gets booted from the game. To me, I think you got to take both. But I would prefer it if nobody goes because it's college sports. It's amateurs playing a game that we all love. Let the guys play because they can talk shit and they can take it. If, like that, we are grown up around this environment of competitive athletics. This is what we live for. We are going to get this. It doesn't matter the environment. You put Point Park and Wheeling, West Virginia on a field together. they are going to be jawing at each other.
Lord.
I'm just telling you. So yeah, I just think that was crazy. And for me, I'm like, okay, where have I seen this before? Is there past precedent that's been set on this? Oh, Clemson's outfielder Cam Cannarella in a regional game against that 2023 Tennessee team was ejected from a winner's bracket regional game where he was running off the field, jawing at somebody, going straight to his dugout. If the rule of you have to not veer away from the dugout or your line of running, Cam really didn't in that video. Will really didn't in that video. So who is correct? Where are we miscommunicating with umpires? Because I don't want to blame umpires like just without any reasoning. One, let me understand how this is being officiated. Two, if nobody knows, don't do anything. Please just let the guys play. Rant done.
It's good. Well said.
Good stuff. Yeah, I remember the days back in the Mercer versus Wofford area. You know, we would just get at each other's throats, and no umpire would say anything to us.
No big
back
deal.
in my day.
No,
Jokes on everybody else. The entire Point Park infield speaks Spanish.
No big deal. We cleared the benches with the Citadel after the game ended. Nobody could get thrown out. Oops.
There you go.
I will say that in that moment, and I think I mentioned it briefly in my little crazy monologue, but I think you saw like Gavin Cash, who was clearly very frustrated that he's just hit two baseballs, 108 to dead center the day before, 107 the other side, and both didn't get out. So yeah, I don't know what was said or the altercation, but like I'll tell you that the ballpark was just as equally confused by the aftermath. Like,
well, it takes too long to decipher what the hell happened.
Yeah,
too.
I'm sitting in the A&M dugout when you guys clip that sick video.
That was great, by the way.
To get the heck on the field as a sideline reporter. Dude, he walked directly by me, and I was like, "Oh, hey, there goes Gavin." And then he disappears, and I see him jawing at fans. And I go, "That's weird. I wonder if he's got to go to the bathroom." No one knew it. Public address announcer didn't say anything. No one said anything, and I was like, "Well, who got yaboed with him? Nobody." I didn't know until I saw our text in that 11.7 chat. And I was like, oh, I guess he will not be coming out of the bathroom anytime soon.
That's a long shit.
All right, should we use shit as the segue? Should I do it? Should I leave Texas for us? What the shit happened in the box? Guys.
Fun.
Hey, wait, before we get into that, what a perfect segue game. Like all 3 days. It was Texas versus Texas A&M, and then like once the game was over, everybody just turned their attention to the box. Like that needs to be an every week occurrence. Like there needs to be a 9 a.m. Eastern time SEC game following that 9 p.m. 6 p.m. game. Like we need to start staggering it because I know there was a weather delay at Alex Box. They didn't start until like 11 p.m. Eastern time. Finished at 2 a.m. I fell asleep, missed the game. But and then like Saturday was the same thing. Sunday was the same thing. It was like right after. Like the game ended, boom, LSU Tennessee, which was another very entertaining series. If you missed it on Friday.
I think actually Sundays was
no,
third
you're
inning.
Right.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
We get the point, and we totally agree. Like start a game so Friday's tough to stagger, but on Saturday, Sunday, start a game at noon, start a game at 3, start a game at 6, start a game at 9. It's not too hard.
It's really not.
I love the staggered starts, but speaking of some jawing, like there was some jawing back and forth between Jared Jones and Antigua. Like
he's a dog.
Yeah, Curiel.
I loved him. I fell in love with that kid this weekend.
Yeah, that was fun. It really just comes down to one inning. Like Tennessee could have easily won that series if the bottom of the ninth doesn't get away from them, where they score 6 runs. Jared Jones walk-off homer, celebrate in your face with the 6,000 fans that were left at 2 a.m. And then Tennessee responds well on Saturday, and it was a fun pitching matchup. Both guys had their best stuff, but then the bullpen for LSU kind of got the game away. Tennessee finally capitalized with runners in scoring position. But then, like today, it says a lot about a team like LSU that can respond after an emotional win Friday, tough loss Saturday, and just come out and just beat their heads in. Like LSU is the real deal.
Yeah. So my takeaway from the series, you hit at it, hinted at it. I thought Tennessee was the better team. I thought they should have been the team that won this series. LSU was no hit like through 6 innings by Liam Doyle that first game. LSU had like 2 hits through 6 innings the second game. And then me just gambling brain goes, oh, they're so due. In game 3, they just explode offensively, and Tennessee had no shot. So that was how I viewed that, just the way the series went. But my goodness, I'm actually more impressed by the way that Tennessee bounced back in game 2 after the way they lost at the time they did in game 1, just in the manner of how majestic of a moonshot that was by Jared Jones. My goodness. And I absolutely loved that Ben and Dimitri, who run the 11.7 account, heard all of it by the LSU fans. You guys deserve to be in the mentions, chirping us for not posting that highlight 2 seconds after. Because, I mean, that might be like
2 o'clock in the morning.
I
2 in the morning. I
we
just finished my grandpa's funeral. What do you want me to do?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
Pull that card on me. I feel like a dick now. But dude, it was the moment of the year almost.
My grandpa died, Noah.
I know. I feel terrible now. But
no, I'm kidding.
yeah, dude, it was the moment of the year. Jared Jones had been cold up until that point this season for the last few games. So, yeah, just a cool moment for that guy. I also will say this was the weekend that I feel like the coming out party of Derek Curiel. This guy's arrived. Like
coming
he
out
had
party,
been making
buddy,
out.
He's been out.
He's been
but I'm just saying he had been making noise the entire year, but this series demanded a lot of attention from everybody. And in game 3 to do that, 4 balls hit over 100 miles an hour. This kid's been on base in every game except for game 2 of the Tennessee series. Absolute stud. Kason Evans goes out there and shoves in his first career start at LSU. I was more impressed by Evans than I think I have been by him all season long to go out there and give LSU those important innings, because it very well could have turned into what Tennessee had to do, and that wasn't pretty, where you're kind of like, who's going to show up for us right now? In the post game, Tony Vitello was like, yeah, we just had a lot of guys not feeling confident, throwing confident pitches out there. It easily could have turned into an absolute firefight where both teams score 8+ runs. But yeah, great win from the Tigers in game 3. And to steal that series when your offense didn't really have its best stuff in game 1 or game 2, that's what good teams do.
Yeah. Dude, for me, it was like the bottom of the order for LSU was putting up better at bats the first 2 games of the series than the top of the order, which is always a good sign, right? Because the top of the order is going to figure it out at some point. So, like, if those bottom of the order guys, like 6, 7, 8, 9, Braswell and Milam and I'm forgetting Stanfield. Is that his name? Stanfield? Yes.
Yeah. Chris Stanfield.
Like, those guys get the ball rolling. Like, this is a team that's going to score double-digit runs in every postseason game out there.
And John Pearson came off the bench and hit a homer too, to your point.
Yeah, pinch hit for his older brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned Curiel. I've already put it in the ears of the Mercer Athletic Foundation. We're going to throw him the biggest NIL deal. He's going to be a Mercer Bear next year.
I think it's a smart idea. You guys should.
Yeah, I'm raising money right now. I need him. I need him on the team. He would love Ortho Georgia Park, 305 down the right field line, 345 to right center. If you hear that, Mr. Curiel, talk to me. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, these are both Omaha teams. Like, it was a fun series. The series outdrew, I think, 2 MLB series this week, like the A's series and then like the White Sox series. Total for the 3 games was more. So really cool for college baseball. 2 very passionate fan bases. And yeah, I mean, we're not going to see we're going to see these teams deep into June. So
No
fun
doubt.
to experience.
Guys, I have 5 PTTs, 5 pencil talk thoughts that I've really written down. I never scripted anything for the show, but I did. I was very excited about the series. But before I do, because we've been a little rude, hey, Sleeping Beauty, Riz God, you got anything for us on this series? I know you're really excited. Nope.
Oh, he did this during the 9th inning of the LSU Tennessee game too.
Man, LSU fans are going to eat that up and clip
Yeah, I'm sorry, LSU or at LSU, the box drunk guy. I'm sorry we didn't have the clip out right.
No, his tag
Curiel.
was "I love beer."
I love LSU beer.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we are exactly what you called us.
Yeah, well, here's my 6 pencil talk thought. I think all of LSU fans that got on Ben, you owe him flowers or ice cream or something. That includes you, Noah. Oops.
Yeah. Wow, I could have phrased it a lot differently and just been like, "Yeah, I'm just being sarcastic because I knew all of those people." But no, I'm just a dickhead too. So
you hurt my feelings.
You hurt my feelings. All right, my 5 PTT thoughts. I'm going to keep it under a minute in honor of the Riz God. Unless Dimitri, you don't have anything to say? Dimitri, if you love pencils, don't say anything. Knew it. All right, LSU, Tennessee.
I hope he just wakes up and goes, "What'd you say to me?"
He's got to be. I mean, he is dead asleep in this chair for our listeners at home. YouTubers, you can see.
He hasn't moved an inch. It's incredible.
He's neck.
He is muted, so like he couldn't hear us talk. But yeah.
Oh god, his neck's gonna hurt. All right, my 5 thoughts. As a diehard Houston Astros fan, Stephen Milam is the next Jose Altuve. God dang, that guy is so freaking fun, and he always delivers in the biggest freaking moments. Oof. 2. Jay Johnson said this about Liam Doyle, reminded him just of Rhett Lauder. It's hefty praise coming from arguably one of the greatest college baseball games of all time with Skeens and Lauder. Lauder's going to have a huge MLB career, like so talented. Liam Doyle, hefty praise. 3. And I want you guys to chime in on this. Doyle and Marcus freaking Phillips. That is one of the scariest 1-2 punches that we've ever seen. And that's talking about a Tennessee rotation that had Dolander, Burns, and Beam 3 years ago, right? Like,
and Bidwell, right?
Yeah, they are, and Phillips is just an animal. Like, those 2 guys are going to be just freaks for so long. 4. What was the biggest fight? Jared Jones and Ariel Antigua, or Jared Jones absolutely alphaing that home plate umpire telling him to get out of the box?
Yes.
Boys.
It's like, this is my moment.
Umpire, get down. By the way, just hit a ball 537 feet to dead center to win a game that's 6 runs in the 9th. You think the umpire wanted his time to shine? Hey, get down the line, young man. And Jared Jones just, I'm a bear. This is mine. I'm going. I thought the Antigua and Jones deal was going to be the biggest alpha. Hey, fighting in the blue corner at a 5'6" and 160 pounds versus fighting in the purple corner, right? Insane. 5th and final.
They stopped the game for 3 minutes for those 2 jawing at each other at first base.
So funny.
That's how good it was.
And then you're thinking, well, he's got to go back to cover first base. Like,
yeah.
Antigua like throws like a quick one in there, just like while he's not looking, right? It'd be great. All right, this is good. I took notes, and I've been going semi-speedy. My 5th and final tidbit. 3 straight series losses in a row, Ben. I don't know, in honor of the guarantee, if there's ever been a team that so perfectly fits the bill of the hot, cold, hot.
The hot, cold, hot theory is in full effect in Knoxville.
Oh, God, Tennessee fans. Oh, we can't play defense. Dean Curley with the errors. Guys, you are 1 pitch away from winning this series in the box in front of the biggest sellout crowd in the history of college baseball. Let's breathe together. Ben, this is the hot, cold, hot theory that you so beautifully, meticulously put together. They've never been more suited for us to release the Pissy Pants video. Ever.
it's a bad spot to be Dimitri right now because you're right. The hot cold hot theory is in full effect now. Granted, like there is a few teams right now that are meeting the hot cold hot theory. And if you're a first time listener, hot cold hot theory is this: like the first 25, 30 games of the season, you play good baseball. Like you know who your guys are. You fill out the lineup every day, and you're like, all right, he's hitting here, he's playing here, and everything's going great. You need a 3 or 4 week stretch of playing below average baseball. Now that doesn't mean you're still losing. It doesn't necessarily mean you're losing games. For example, like Tennessee last year wasn't dropping a ton of games, but they were losing games. Maybe Tennessee's a bad example, but like Evansville, for example, they make it super regional. The April to early May, they were bad. Like they were losing a lot of games, and then you get hot around like 2 weeks before conference tournament. You win a series, sweep a series, you go and do really well in your conference tournament, probably win it, and then it just propels you forward. NC State 2021, Ole Miss 2022. These teams fit the hot, cold, hot theory to a T. This is a good time if your team is struggling. Like you can always hang your hat on. You know what? We're gonna figure it out. And we've played good baseball. We're still healthy. These guys are just going through a little slump. So yeah, Tennessee dangerous team with that, but they're not the only ones.
No.
There's a few other teams out there that I love in the hot, cold, hot. Like just get to the end of May. Get to the end of May, and you'll like your team again.
Heck, the guy's sleeping on us quite literally. But Dimitri and his Georgia Bulldogs, at losers of 5 straight in the SEC, they dropped
Arkansas too.
Yeah, Arkansas too. Florida back in the mix. We've done now 30 minutes plus of SEC talk. I know our mid-major fans want us to get there, but like there's just so many compelling storylines where you're looking at it going, man, the sport's never been better. There's so much talent, and these teams that like are like struggling a little bit, and college baseball fans are freaking bonkers or overreacting. And all I do is I lay my head in bed that night and I go, man, Ben and that hot, cold, hot theory, they're just on to something. If I were a college baseball fan, I'd be dreaming, praying that my team struggled at this time of the year.
Yeah, you need it. You need it bad.
Yeah. Speaking of the Tennessee, Arkansas teams that have lost 3 series in a row in the SEC, Arkansas, Texas is next. Exactly what the doctor had ordered, right? Perfect. Exactly what you want. But it could be a letdown series for them. But Tennessee and Arkansas play each other the final weekend of the series. So that series could have been like, they're 1 versus 2, just like we saw Texas A&M, Arkansas last season, where it was like, okay, game 1, they went all out, but 2 and 3, they didn't really care about it too much. Like they didn't push the bullpen arms crazy, because they had the SEC tournament, but also you just want to be healthy for the NCAA tournament. So now there's going to be some meaning to that Arkansas-Tennessee game. Tennessee hosts Auburn next weekend. So,
yeah, I'm looking at the remaining schedule for a lot of these teams, and it's going to get fun towards the next 3 weeks is going to be a blast. Last thing I'll say about the SEC, if the season ended today, they're getting probably 8, maybe 9 hosts between Texas, Arkansas, LSU, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Auburn, and then like Ole Miss is right there on the bubble. They're 18 RPI.
I told you 9 seems crazy and it almost feels disrespectful, but like which one do you want to leave out? Who's going to feel slighted? That's it.
Dude, the difference between, listen to this, the difference between 11th place and 2nd place is 4 games. 4-game difference.
It's so stupid. That's so silly.
But is it a 4-game difference from 2nd place to 1st place? No,
5-game difference. 5-game
That's
difference.
Nutty.
First year in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Second fastest to ever have gotten to 19 wins. It's really stupid.
Yeah, let's bounce over to the ACC, and I want to start with this.
Ben,
go ahead.
We had a discussion in our group chat about this, and then Dimitri tweeted about it, so I just wanted to mention it. The hats in college baseball are, I think the quality of them are getting less and less. Like the Nike foam brims. You look at Liam Doyle, and his brim is like this, and then the brim's down, and up on the other end. You look at Jason Flores; he had a pretty beaten in hat today too. Dimitri wanted to talk about new era jumping into the college baseball game. I think it's a great thing. Nike got to step up the game.
Yeah, New Era, they always make the best hats. I would love to start seeing like some what other hat company, like 47 brand starts coming in with some
I like Richardson
branded
too.
bills. Yeah, I think this one might be.
What does
That's
Los Beeves sell?
Is that
It doesn't
Richardson?
say.
No. I think it's like a Pacific.
It's 1010 hats. That's what it's called, 1010.
Then
But Noah, I want you to lead us off with ACC coverage because you wrote a fabulous blog on our website, 11.7.com, about scooping up the Wolfpack of NC State, a team that always you can rely on in May and June at 100-1 odds. So they come off like they're hot right now. They might be too hot too early. Like this is a little different for them, but they're playing great baseball. They used 6 pitchers this weekend, sweep Clemson at home. Tell us about the Wolfpack and why you like them so much.
Yeah, 1000%. It wasn't an article written about a hot, cold, hot theory or a take. It's just a take on a team that's playing really good baseball right now and has a great chance of hosting. And at that position where you said 100-1, so it was 100-1 on Hard Rock. I don't know what it's currently at there. DraftKings still has 90-1 posted right now, and BetMGM had 80-1 on NC State to win the College World Series National Championship. Circus Sports, who I think is the most respected book when it comes to pricing these things correctly of how good these teams are and how much money they're also taking, because it's a balancing game in that aspect. They have them priced at 30-1, so you're getting $60 of value, I think. Anyways, NC State this weekend, guys, swept Clemson, gave the Tigers their first ACC series loss of the year. That's impressive, right? I mean, doing that against a squad like that isn't going to give games away. Like, we've seen them so many times come back from a small deficit or big deficit. NC State shut the door in all 3 games with the lead.
Mm-hmm.
They only threw 6 pitchers in the 3 games. 2 pitchers in game 1, 2 pitchers in game 2, 2 pitchers in game 3. I don't know if I've seen something more impressive from a pitching staff. And me, I'm always a sucker for good pitching because that's how good your floor of your baseball team can be, in my opinion. And I think that when I look at this bullpen, there's a chance that it can even get better, because you look at Derek Smith, who was their closer last season. He's only pitched
my favorite. He was my favorite pitcher last year to watch.
Dude, he's only thrown 2.2 innings this season.
Yeah.
And then they also get Shane Van Dam, or they're planning. It's not a foregone conclusion that they're getting him back, but he's recovering from Tommy John surgery and he's throwing again. So they're trying to get him prior to the postseason. But I mean, you had Dom Fritton go 4 innings. He gave up 4 runs in his start. After that, Clemson was shut out by Anderson Nance. 4 innings, 7 strikeouts, dunzo. Friday, Heath Andrews, who I actually went a little bit in depth on this kid, right? So he's their game 2 starter. My simile of it was, imagine a shopping cart in a store, right? You have some straight wheels and then there's that one wobbly wheel, but the cart is driving straight. I don't mean that in a bad way, but that to me, when I look at this team, that was Heath Andrews, because to begin the year, his first 4 starts, he had a 2.45 ERA. Then over his next 5 starts, it was an 8.65 ERA. But against the number 2 team in the country, they come to town. He was absolutely stone cold. 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, the most in his career, 3 more than ever any other performance. And then Andrew Schaffner comes out of the bullpen. He's got their best ERA back there. 3 innings, 3 strikeouts, just 1 run, game over. And then Sunday, Ryan Marone has been just an absolute stud in games 3s this season. 8 innings, just 1 run, 5 strikeouts. And then Jacob Duden has kind of gone from the number 2 of last year, a College World Series team, to, you're our number 3 guy. And then when we probably get Derek Smith back, you might move down the peg one more time. That's just how good and deep this pitching staff is. We all knew that coming into the year. that was a young lineup, right? They are playing every day 5 underclassmen in the lineup.
Yeah.
This team has the next level that they could potentially reach still, because these guys are still getting more reps. And like sometimes we talk about it on the show. The younger guys actually, it's easy to say, oh, they've not been there before, they haven't done that. Actually, it goes about the same. It happens the same amount of times where it's like, oh, that guy doesn't even realize the type of scene and the stage and the pressure that is in this moment. He's just immune to it. Just, I know it's an MLB reference, but look at who's the outfielder for the Rangers, who was just cold-blooded in the postseason 2 years ago.
Evan Carter.
Evan Carter.
We don't mention the Rangers, dude, on this pod. I'm sorry.
I apologize. I apologize, but Evan Carter's been like an average Jeremy Pena.
Example. No, you know what? Timeout. A better example. Jeremy Pena. Thank you.
Thank you. For the love of God,
don't ever mention Evan Carter.
You are doing so well. I cannot wait to go read this. And then you
could have even said like Kerry Carpenter. Who's your Tigers guy that killed the Astros in the playoffs last year? Was it Kerry Carpenter or one of those guys?
Bo Brisky probably was the guy. Yeah. That's such a young, but. That was the gist of what I had to say. This team dominates the strike zone, both on the mound. They're going to get outs, and at the plate, top 20 in strikeout rate and walk rate. They're not gonna, pop you a bomb up and down that order, although they are top 50 in home runs per game. They are just perfect in plate approach, and that's what you want, is consistency.
No, you're a very smart guy, and I appreciate all of that insight, because we would want nobody other than yourself telling us that. But let me teach you something, rookie. Let me teach you something here.
Jack, I love this. Everybody listening to the podcast is just like hearing Ben and I go at each other. This has been going on all day in the group chat. It's been incredible.
I think I called him rookie in the group chat 3 times. Let me teach you something here. Jack and I are not the smartest people in the world, but what we do have is the ability to trust what we know. Jack and I got to see this NC State team in Jacksonville. Jack got to talk with Coach Avant, really in depth, and they looked really bad that weekend. They lose a game to Ohio State, like they lose on a walk-off homer against Alabama, and it's like all these question marks in the air. Oh, our bullpen isn't what it used to be. We're talking to fans. We got 6 freshmen playing every day, or sophomores, freshmen. And Jack and I would just look at each other and go, yeah, but when May and June comes around, you guys will be fine. Like, that is a Coach Avant team to a T. Like last year, they struggled very hard beginning part of the season. Guess what? They go into Athens for a super regional and win the super regional. It's part of the DNA. The Wolfpack DNA will always be there late April all the way through June. And like, sure, they might not win a College World Series, but they'll get there. They'll get to Omaha, and they'll do it in a way where you just scratch your head and say, how did they beat Charlie Condon? Like, how did they do it with a freshman on the mound? It's part of Coach Avant's DNA, and that's why he's one of the top coaches in the country every year. So there's that. You can throw numbers out all you want. Those numbers will mean nothing in a month.
Well, I think that's what makes it really dangerous. So if you're a hypothetical investor at home, they've passed the analytics test brought to you by our smart guy, but they've also passed the eyeball on the testicle test, which is, it just feels right. It just feels right. I don't know. It just feels right. I don't know why, but it does.
The eyeball on the testicle test.
You like that? Man, guys at home, if you're listening, go subscribe to our YouTube so you can watch our sweet Riz God sleep through this. I mean, his neck is going to hurt so bad tomorrow, which is why I think it's the perfect time to say, Dimitri, if you're actually faking it, you've done a great job. Boys, Miami? Question mark. How about just that? Miami? Question mark. Thoughts? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't watch a single pitch. Are we thoughts? Question mark.
My reaction to that is like a dog tilting their neck, like I'm listening. Like, okay. 3 straight ACC series sweeps. Impressive. Good stuff.
Well, Dimitri was the number 1 doubter of Miami this year. I tried to talk him. Dude, there were so many times this like preseason, you can go back on the podcast, and I would tell him, Like, hey, they're not going to be that bad. Like, they're a talented team. I know you hate the coach that they hired, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Like, they kept it internal. The coaching staff is internal, similar to what A&M did with Michael Early. Like, we're not going to go get a guy and change the culture. We're just going to bring a guy in, keep the recruits that we have, and like just try to build something internally and special. And like on paper, talent wise, like Miami's going to get talented freshmen like every year, and like those freshmen are going to turn to sophomores. And I know you lose Blake Sear to Florida, who was All American or freshman All American last year, but at the end of the day, like you're not going to be out of place. Like this is not going to be Missouri in the SEC. This is not going to be,
And to your credit, they still have Danny Cuvée.
yeah, and like Daniel Cuvée is, I mean, he's not as good as Yo-Yo Morales, one of my favorite college players of all time. I would get a Yo-Yo Morales Miami jersey today if it was offered. But yeah, I mean, he's 1B to Yo-Yo Morales, and dude, pure hitter. Like he's going to make it to the major leagues. He's going to hit for average. The power is going to continue to develop. But yeah, you look at Miami, and it's like not a fun team that you want to play. Like they can, I would say most of their ACC losses they beat themselves, walking 8+ in a game, like making 4 errors in a game. When they play on brand baseball, like they're going to win more games than they're not. So yeah, I mean, I like what Noah said. Like, yeah, I'm listening on Miami. I'm listening.
Here's another head tilter for you guys. I don't mean to leave the ACC so early. So if we're missing someone's, please check.
We are, but you can go.
Can I tilt my head to the independent conference and ask you, Ben, you're trying to rally the Beavers. Was that a questionable series where you're going, is this telling or a fluke?
It's a good question. I'll be honest. I only watched highlights from that series, so I didn't have the ability to like feel the game out or momentum, this and that. On paper, there's no reason why Oregon State should have been swept. Like there's just no reason. Oregon hasn't been the greatest team at sweeping other teams this year. Like they play with their food more than most. Like they'll drop a game to Rhode Island or whatever. Like they're very bad at sweeping teams. And Oregon State, I still think is a top 15 team at the least in the country. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I've seen Oregon State do enough this year where it's like, oh, you win a series against Irvine, who I think is a really good team and potential Omaha team. I've seen like Dax Whitney throw 98 miles an hour from behind the ear as a true freshman. And like, I don't know, like I didn't do enough research to answer that question. Like, I'm not concerned with Oregon State though. Like we're going to be staying up at 10 p.m. Eastern, watching first pitch May 28th, that Friday night against, probably San Jose State or somebody. Like they're going to host a regional. They'll find a way.
I was just reading the room. I needed to make sure. If we're going to have a mid-major win the College World Series this year, I'm going to need Oregon State and Irvine to get to Omaha. I need to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to be getting a good look at Oregon next week. They're coming to Michigan State. I'm going to be there. I'm planning on being there for the 3 games. I like the Ducks team, and I think the label that I'm willing to throw on them now is they play to their competition.
Yeah,
because they step up and they win the series against USC in a sweeping fashion. They win the series against UCLA, and I think they swept UCLA. They win the series and they sweep Oregon State. But
they got run ruled by UCLA one game.
Okay.
Maybe the Saturday game.
But how are you flirting with disaster against Ohio State? You lose the series. You're flirting with disaster against Rhode Island. You lose a game.
Dude, they flirted with disaster against Rutgers at home.
Yeah.
They won 2 one-run games and lost a game against Rutgers.
Yeah. So from my vantage point, like if you listen to the preview or the weekend preview show that we do, like I have not been fully in on Oregon State's pitching this season. I don't think Nelson Keljo's like your ace that you would want throwing in game one. Game one, unfortunately, just 4.2, 4 walks, 3 earned, just a lot of freebies turning into runs. Grayson Grinzel on the opposite side in that game one where you need the dude to go out there and be a dude. 7 innings, 2 earned. Didn't have as many strikeouts as Keljo, but he had less walks, less earned runs. Game 2, unfortunately, our guy we want, like, he's going to be a stud next season, his junior year, his draft year, but Dax Whitney only goes 3 innings. Like, he walks 4 again. Like, this Oregon State staff, specifically the rotation, struggles, in my opinion, throwing strikes. I think the most consistent guy has been Kleinschmidt, but he's dominant early, and they just kind of ran out of bullpen arms in that game 3, and they lose a tightly contested game 3 after they got clobbered in game 2 and they got outdueled in game 1. And I don't know if I see this Beavers team as a super regional team. I like to go into every series neutral, also betting, and partly because I want to learn about these teams, but I was hate watching in a way. And I was like, prove to me that I'm wrong on Oregon State. I want to be a fan, but I wasn't able to get there on the Beavers, and I'm very excited to see the Ducks in person next weekend.
That's the most gambling thing you've ever said on this podcast. I'm hate watching the team. There are teams that I have hypothetically invested in.
Kind of have to.
Dude, I will hate them forever. All right, well, I hate me for taking us out of the ACC, but I had to do a little mid-major independent talk. Take me back to the ACC. What do you got for me? Feed me. I missed all of it. Feed me.
Florida State lost a road series at Louisville.
Yeah.
And what Louisville's doing without pitching is incredible. You just saw this Cardinals team last weekend, Jack. So you actually would probably maybe be more knowledgeable of speaking to the injuries that they have, but I almost drove down. I was talking to Ben about this. I almost drove to Louisville to catch Florida State, and I wanted to see Jamie Arnold in person, but it was spotty weather. I didn't want to do it. It got delayed for like an hour or two, so ultimately I didn't make the drive, but it would have been a great series because, Florida State takes game 1, and then Louisville just unloads offensively in games 2 and 3 to win this series. We knew the offense was there. They have had some interchangeable pieces due to injury or underperformance and whatnot, but they have a lineup that is willing to they can put up 7 runs a game on the spot, basically. They just need to be able to pitch the ball. And when they can, and they can keep their opponent under 7 runs, they're winning.
Yeah. Look, to add on that, Noah, Louisville's pretty dang close to that hosting picture now with that series win against Florida State. For Florida State, to me, I watched the game Friday or game 1, and it was like, wow, Florida State is just a better team. Like, they are from top to bottom a better team. They look the part, and it was identical to that Wake Forest series, Florida State Wake Forest, where the next 2 days Wake Forest goes out and just beats their brains in. That's what Louisville did. Just out of nowhere, after almost a perfect game Friday, Florida State looked like the worst team from top to bottom. So, like, I don't know how to evaluate a team like Florida State. I think they're going to win every Friday. Like, anytime Jamie Arnold pitches, they're going to be favorites pretty heavily, Vegas line and hypothetical line. But like, Louisville's offense is going to be there. Zion Rose hit a ball today that was 600 feet out of the stadium, and it like set the tone for him in the first inning, or maybe it was the second inning, whenever it was. But like, you look at the 2 teams' remaining schedules left. I have them pulled up. Louisville is 12-9 in conference and sitting at 20 in the RPI. They have at Notre Dame, at Georgia Tech, who's been struggling, and then Wake Forest. Meanwhile, Florida State still has Clemson this coming up week. They go out to Cal, which is a tough trip, and then they finish at home against North Carolina. So, like, I'm not saying Florida State's at jeopardy of not hosting. I think they're pretty cemented into the hosting picture, but Florida State needs to be fighting for that top 8 national seed, because if not, they're probably going to go on the road for a super regional at an SEC environment. Like, that's why it's so important for these teams to fight for the top 8 national seed. You don't want to go to a super regional at Vanderbilt, or like, you don't want to go to a super regional at Fayetteville. Like, you got to play those games at home to give yourself a fighting chance. So between Clemson, at Cal, and North Carolina, like, 6-3 would feel like the world in those next 9 games.
I'll tell you this before we leave. And again, I told you I didn't watch the series, but what I do know, and Ben can attest to this, getting to talk with Coach McDonald a year ago, right? He's so upfront and so real about like the current state of his squad. He's like, man, and Ben, we remember that conversation well at Wake Forest a year ago when they were about to face Burns and Hartle, and he knew what he was getting himself into. When I saw him last week at Clemson, boys, and Noah, you talk about injuries. Like if you were to hypothetically invest in a team to get to Omaha with a guy that's been there and done that, they'd be a really frisky choice. Because he looked at me in Clemson and goes, if we can get through this stretch and get our horses back, they're in trouble. They are 8 guys in that lineup hitting 0 for 300. They are getting really quality innings out of young, inexperienced arms. And that was really just from my perspective last week. You're telling me they take a series over these dudes. This is a really interesting team if it's like a hockey in power play. When they get back to full strength, that's a dangerous Cards squad with a veteran staff that have all stuck around. Yeah, that's cool to hear. I love Coach McDonald, man. He's one of my favorites, and it would be that'd be fun. Be fun to see them make a little run.
You know what's great about
Yeah, you
Louisville?
had the more.
Oh, let me add this in here for Louisville. One, like people forget they beat Texas opening day. Like they beat them, and
Yeah, I was just going to
yeah,
that.
it's
Like
like
Jack had the more recent look of this team, but like my look in the opening weekend, I saw this team fully healthy, a team that beat the number 1 team in the country, a team that on the same field as Clemson, both with Jack and also opening weekend where Clemson was there in Arlington too. I thought they were pretty dang equal when it came to offense, and then Clemson had some pitching things that they were ironing out, and Louisville had their full staff without a couple of the injuries. Lucas Moore was the guy that I was going to shout out. Like when I saw him, little build, packs a punch. Game 2 and game 3, he was like a big piece in why they won against Florida State. I think he was 5 for 10, hit 2 home runs in the second game with 6 or in the third game with 6 RBI. Like he had a hell of a weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anything else from the ACC? I know we can't listen, followers and listeners. I'm sorry, we can't get to every single team and every single Power Four. Trying to hit on the top stories for each conference, and then like next episode, like that Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday episode that we do, that's when we kind of dive into the whole conference as a whole, evaluating like what teams need to do moving forward and this and that. Like these Sunday episodes, we're trying to hit on those big series, the big moments, and kind of play off of that or branch off of that. I don't know anything off the top of my head, ACC that we should talk about, unless I'm forgetting something, guys.
Oh, ACC. ACC, Virginia almost swept Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Then Drew Burris happened in the 9th and 10th inning, I think it was. But yeah, great weekend for Virginia. They desperately need just ACC wins. We were talking about RPI last show. Throw RPI out the window. Just get to 16 or 17 ACC wins and say, committee, I dare you to leave us off. That's your best plan right now.
I agree with that. Like, I think the committee's smart enough to know that, like, if Virginia goes 17-13 in ACC play and their RPI is 58, like, they're going to be in the tournament.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'd like to think that they're in.
Yeah.
For Virginia's sake.
Let's jump around. Let's go to the Big 12 now, because I think.
Do you want to play Country Roads?
Yeah. What a celebration by the outfield of West Virginia. What a celebration. But like, we'll start with the Mountaineers. 37-5 is nothing to blink at. People online and even Dimitri will say, yeah, there's 37-5, but like I'm not sold on them yet. The strength of schedule is bad, blah, blah, blah. Dude, they've swept 4 straight. I think it's 4 straight. 4 straight.
They went perfect in the Big 12 in Big 12 conference play in the month of April.
Yeah, they've won 12 straight Big 12 games. They sweep Utah, they sweep at Houston, sweep Cincinnati, sweep at UCF. Listen, those aren't world beaters, and you should win all of those series. But to sweep everybody, like sweep all 4, is nuts. Absolutely. They've actually won 14 straight Big 12 games because they won the last 2 games against BYU. So, look, I know they don't have like that stick your flag or plant your flag in the ground series win this year. They lose the series against Arizona like a month ago. But still, like to win 37 of your first 42 games is very hard to do. Doesn't matter who you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw it this weekend, and especially on the road, which makes it more impressive. They can win in a multitude of different ways, which is what I believe can make a good baseball team be great. Is you have a belief when you're down by 4, a belief when the offense isn't working today, a belief when the pitchers can't get any outs, but the offense is hitting the crap out of the ball. I think that belief is the most powerful thing in the world with a team sport. And we saw this West Virginia team have that same belief last year in the Super Regional against North Carolina. So, like, get them in that same position against a quality opponent. I think you're going to get a good performance out of this West Virginia team. Guys, do you know how many hits West Virginia had in their Game 1 series victory over UCF?
No, but I love where you're going.
I don't know. 0? None.
They had one. They had one hit. They scored. They won the game 4-1, and they had one hit. UCF had 9. How do you win that baseball game? I remember Ben, I think, doing this joke like 2 or 3 years ago. He would just tweet out a box score, like, and you would just be like, "I'm stunned on how this box score." How this team just beat this team, and the box score doesn't make any sense to me. That is Game 1. And then if anybody saw Game 2, I can't even put it into words. It was the wildest college baseball game in the world. It was like a 15-10 game, and there was nutty shit happening left and right that I just can't.
How about UCF's pitcher that he gets the out at first base. He's covering first, gets the out, starts talking shit, throws the bat or the ball down on the ground, but there was only the second out. So the runner from second ends up scoring a run. Like, how does that happen?
Oh, I love it. I love the SID of teams like on social media and stuff. It was just the subtle, like, just put salt in the wound. Yeah, typically there are 3 outs needed to get out of an inning.
Yep.
It's so
I'm
good.
about to give West Virginia the highest praise I think Ben Upton could give. I can't name a single player on their team right now. I'm hand up, diehard college baseball fan. I have watched multiple, like probably a dozen West Virginia games. Like when we were all rooting Kennesaw State plus 600 against them weekend number 2, like some of the Big 12 series. Turn on the game. I love the home crowd. They have an awesome ESPN Plus broadcast. The names don't stick in my head, okay? And that's the highest praise that you could give a team. And like Coach Sabins, who deserves Coach of the Year votes this year, first year coming, or he was in the program, but taking over for Randy Mazey and just not missing a beat. And like this is a team that plays as a team. They don't have any individuals, no Alec Manoahs, no JJ Weatherholtz. I honestly, like, gun to my head right now, could not name a West Virginia baseball player. They are just one unit.
I'll give you the blurb that so my play of the day in the article that we do on 11.7 for Friday, because the betting odds are out early enough where I can actually do content for betting, was West Virginia money line against UCF. They are elite against left-handed pitching. They have a 1055 OPS against left-handed pitching with 375 batting average. They're just very good against right-handers, 298 average, 851 OPS. In that lineup, 2 names to know: Jace Reinhardt, Kyle West, and then their ace, Griffin Kern, has just been, consistent. Just he's a solid pitchable lefty that is a bit taller than Derek Clark, but kind of has the same mentality. D2 kid from, I think, Illinois. Last year, Derek Clark was a D2 kid out of Middle Michigan. Like, they just did it again, and he's been their ace.
Hey, Ben, doesn't it make you kind of horny when Noah starts spouting off? And it makes me realize how little I know about college baseball. I mean,
he's the best.
there's no wonder that he actually like invests in a green number and hypothetically. I couldn't spell freaking green in the investment world. That kind of turned me on a little bit now.
Yeah. But so anyways, West Virginia in the
Anyways,
Big 12 right now. And it's really going to come down, I think, to the last weekend of the season. They're hosting
The Crank
Kansas.
the Hog series.
Hosting Kansas for the right to crank the hog. The West Virginia schedule is tough down the stretch. Like their last 9 games are not going to be a walk in the park. Like Texas Tech comes into town, who overall record not great. Big 12 play, they're playing good baseball on the weekends.
They just beat Arizona in a weekend
Yep,
series too.
they did. And then you have to go at Kansas State, and Kansas State at home this season is 16-2. So playing in Manhattan, the Little Apple, never easy. And then hosting Kansas that last weekend. So, like, look, if they can just dude, they have 2 rivalry midweeks left too. This Wednesday they play against Marshall, and remember Marshall played them tough maybe 2 weeks ago, where I don't remember the final score, but it was a 1-run game where I think West Virginia walked them off. But you play Marshall and then you play at Pitt, so it's like there's not an easy game left on their schedule.
My buddy Mac from the college experience, he's a West Virginia grad, was a staffer under Bob Huggins at West Virginia on their basketball roster or squad. He's doing a conspiracy theory that Pitt usually plays West Virginia in the midweek game at PNC Park. This year, Pitt's playing Penn State at PNC Park instead of West Virginia. West Virginia's mercied them or run ruled them twice, 2 years in a row at PNC. So it's like, okay, that makes a little more sense.
Penn State will get you too now. They're no walk in the park.
They could, yeah.
But yeah, the Big 12 standings right now is great. Look, I have to stop saying "look" before every sentence.
I'm an all right guy. I always say all right. I say all right.
Yeah, we all have our little hitches in our voice.
Keep doing it. You just keep doing it because I hate it when people correct me.
What was I going to say? Okay, so Kansas is in second place, and then TCU, Arizona State both tied at 14-7. And then like Arizona, who could be like the most talented team on paper, is sitting in 5th place at 13-8 after dropping a weekend to Texas Tech. Kansas State and Cincinnati, and even like who knows what Texas Tech does in the Big 12 tournament. Those 3 teams I could see as the annual Big 12 get hot in May, win the Big 12 tournament, go be a 3 seed somewhere and run through it. Kansas State, Cincinnati, and Texas Tech, well-coached teams that are like not scared of the limelight. So I'll put it that way.
My Big 12 talk consists of 3 items. First and foremost, I have zero idea how to feel about either of the Arizona schools. Arizona and Arizona State freak me out. I don't know if they're good or not. 2, West Virginia rocks. I want to get to Morgantown really bad. So Morgantown, if there are any West Virginia listeners, I want to come check it out. 3, don't you dare talk about the Big 12 in the postseason without mentioning TCU. I could not feel better about my TCU Omaha pick at the beginning of the year. Could not feel better about it. Tommy Lepore, who is the D1 Baseball Big 12 pitcher of the day, 8 2/3. Did you guys see the video of him getting like they pulled him off the mound with 1 out to go in that game against Baylor over the weekend?
I didn't see it, no.
It was pretty cool. It looked like kind of emotional. He gives like a curtain call almost coming off the field. It was a cool moment. I think he's been like a dog for him. I mean, I don't think he has been a dog. I believe he's tied for first in wins in the Big 12 with 7 this year. He's been really good.
I have a great story about TCU. This was sent to me from Ray Cartwright over at Lupton Drinking Club. Did you know that Sawyer Strohsnyder?
Yeah.
He loses a tooth running into the right field fence. Happens to be an oral surgeon at the ballpark and gives him surgery and puts the tooth back in and like surgically puts it back in, and he has his tooth, like the same tooth, back out. Like it's crazy.
That's a killer story.
I don't have all the details. I was trying to read it really quick. There's a great article that I think Ray retweeted, but he DM'd me and he said, like, talk about this. This is a wild college baseball story. Kid loses his tooth, oral surgeon in the stands. They get it done. They get it put back in. Yeah, good for them.
That.
TCU money. A lot of oral surgeons at TCU, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had bartenders at our games.
Yeah. You want to bounce to the Big Ten briefly? Do some mid-major talk after that.
I've got my mid-major talk ready. I don't know.
Big Ten standings.
Do it to
them.
Iowa Hawkeyes. 20-4 in the Big Ten this year. 20-4. 2.5 games better than UCLA. 4.5 better than Oregon and USC. 5.5 better than Washington. Hawkeyes, man. Like, it felt like this should have been last year's Hawkeyes team with Brody Brecht and Morgan.
Ben, you were all over it though, and you tell me this even before I was with 11.7. Iowa with expectations versus Iowa without expectations.
It's like, and then like next year they will have expectations and probably not be good, but the original pitching. Wait, what is? Oh, pitching lab. I almost said pitching factory. Wake Forest got the pitching lab from Iowa. They were the originators of it. Yeah, 20-4. They went on a walk-off safety squeeze, which somebody, maybe it was Sicko's committee or somebody said, like, this is equivalent. A walk-off bunt is equivalent to like a walk-off punt for Iowa football.
Yeah, I like that.
I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, but look, Iowa's still kind of in trouble RPI-wise. They're 61 right now, but 3-0 in quad one game. 3-0 in quad one games. They go at Washington this coming up week.
Well, you know why they're in trouble RPI-wise? In the midweek, they drop a game to frickin' Western Illinois.
Yeah, well,
don't you ever talk down to the Leathernecks. Great synergy customers of mine.
It's my second favorite mascot in Division I baseball or sports. Don't you do that?
It is sick. It is sick. But yeah, I mean, Indiana has swept two like quality Big Ten teams in back-to-back weekends. At Michigan, then against Indiana.
Yeah, that is sick. Can I do this really quick? I'm going to take a play out of the Ben Upton playbook and go, hey, Iowa, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know anybody on your team, but I'm impressed. I love it watching from afar. And I do have a hot take. A diehard 11.7 listener, a fellow bullpen catcher, Mason Collins of Charleston Southern, bullpen catcher at Radford. He got a job. 11.7 listeners since Ben started this 7 years ago. Diehard. He got a job as an SID at Iowa back in January, and I'm not so totally convinced that he didn't bring some good juju to the great state of corn. So something to think about, Mason Collins, Iowa baseball. Go ahead and get buy him dinner because I think he may be the X factor.
He deserves a raise.
Yeah, shout out 11.7 legend. He does deserve a raise. Good call, Ben.
Cade Obermueller is your guy. You have to.
He's going to give people fits in the regional. He is.
Yeah.
Give me a player comp for him. I'll try to think of one.
He might be Big Ten pitcher of the year this year. He's been that good.
He's a man. I'm trying to think of an MLB player comp for him. He's a lefty.
He's a short lefty bulldog. Actually, a college baseball comp that I'd throw on him right now is Hunter Elliott.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. That's the same. You're on the same wavelength there, same level. I'm trying to. There's got to be an MLB guy for maybe just non-college baseball fans, but baseball fans in general. Somebody along the lines of.
While he's thinking that too, Ben Wilms at the top of the lineup, really solid ball player. I think he's got like an average of 330, 340, something like that. Sets the table. Like, you got a guy that gets on base and pretty much half of his at bats. The offense is immediately like, that's kind of been the question mark on the Hawkeyes in years past, is the offense. Offense is immediately better when there's runners on base, and then you get to be able to create some havoc and play heller ball. And drop a squeeze bunt when you need a run. Because they go 10 innings, they win a game 2-1, and the following day it's just an absolute avalanche because Indiana pitching depth is a little shallow. 13-2 in 7 innings, 10-0 in 7 innings, done. See ya. Have fun back in Bloomington. Like, that's what this team's been doing to people all year. It's impressive.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though is the 4 teams from out west that joined the Big Ten are 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place.
Love that.
Yeah.
I think it shows how good
Behind
the
Iowa.
Pac-12 was the last however many years. Very slept on conference.
I told you that
Maybe the only name
Oregon State's even leading the
they
independent
are in first
conference
place.
too.
Hang the banner.
So
2025 Independent League champs. I was gonna say a name kind of like a JP Sears in a way, who pitched at the Citadel, undersized for Obermueller from Iowa. Undersized lefty, pounds the strike zone and has full control of all of his pitches and throws from a weird-ish angle. That's the best I can come up with.
MLB pedigree.
Yeah.
Like, this kid's born and bred baseball, but in Iowa City. Like, he's a hometown kid.
Mhm.
And it's a good story because he was actually drafted last year, I believe. He was either drafted or didn't get drafted, but had draft eligibility, and he's back with the Hawkeyes because that was just, I went to the game, but I didn't talk to him afterwards. But I just assumed fan of the Iowa Hawkeyes and wanted to pitch with the school.
That's
right.
awesome.
Good to see.
Well, last thing I'm going to say here for the Big Ten and Iowa. I was a little concerned with Iowa's RPI. They're going to be just fine. Last 10 games of the season, at Washington, at UIC, which is that game will probably get canceled for RPI reasons, but they'll say weather.
It'll be
And then they host, listen to this. Well, this is actually a neutral site. Des Moines, Iowa, Principal Park, playing against Oregon State for 3. And then they host Oregon, the final weekend series. So that might decide the Big Ten regular season champ right there. Oregon comes to town. So, you're looking at 6 quad 1 games and probably a quad 2 game. Maybe even if Washington plays well, that at Washington can move into a quad 1. You're looking at maybe 9 more quad 1 games. So they'll be fine.
Hand up. I'll start paying more attention. Sorry, Iowa. But don't think it's Big Ten hate, friends. I know more about Northwestern baseball than anybody. So don't think it's Big Ten hate. Hey, hand up, Iowa. It's on me.
I will say I'm at fault. I led off on Oregon State, and I didn't talk about Mason Neville at all.
How many homers does he have now? 21, 22?
Yeah, he's got 21. He's leading the country by 2 homers. He's created separation in that category. Can't wait to see him next week as well. I was talking about Grinzel. Also, really want to see Neville in person. And I think they hit 4 home runs in that game too against Oregon State. So yeah,
all right.
Team can hit.
All right, quick theory before mid-major talk: are home runs down this year? And
yes, dude, they 100% are. They changed the ball again.
Do it, Ben. Keep going. Do it. They changed the baseball.
I almost know for a fact these are different baseballs than 2022 and 2023 and 2024.
Do it, Ben. Keep going.
The balls aren't juiced. I don't know if they changed the
Pandora's box.
Yeah, let's open it. This is a conspiracy, I guess. I don't have any factual proof, but the bats are getting better. Shout out Baseball Bat Bros. They do comparisons all the time between the 2025 Easton whatever and the 2023. The bats are continuing getting better, but the ball is not flying dude. If you're new to college baseball, go watch some of the highlights from 2022 and especially 2022, and then a little bit of 2023, and then last year. But the balls that they were getting in 2022, holy crap, dude! They were like golf balls. They would launch 200 feet in the air, 500 feet far.
To Ben's point, you would see some of the worst mechanical swing because he got beat by a pitch, but he just muscled it out to the opposite field, and you're like, no, That's not
Just no.
not my
Yeah.
college baseball. No.
But hey, all you Major League Baseball fans that are listening in, that we're an hour and a half in, that you're still listening. If you're a Yankee fan that's a dork, you understand this better than anybody. Juice
Those
baseball,
Goldilocks
right up
balls.
your alley, losers.
Yeah. No, I will stand on my
No,
soapbox.
they're just special baseballs, and they want to have a perfect stamp on it for when Judge hits it, and their lucky fan gets the catch.
That's what it is. Don't even get me started. But I will stand on my soapbox and defend it until the day I die. These baseballs in 2025 are not the same from what they were using in the past. Like I'm
Because-
saying 10 or more feet difference. Some of those balls hit this weekend in Texas, and I know Dish Falk is a graveyard, but like off the bat, it's 108 miles an hour and it's a fly out to the warning track.
Gavin Cash hit 2 baseballs, 107, 108, that were right. Didn't even hit the wall at the warning track.
Yeah.
I will say too, and that's why I was curious, because I know pitching has gotten better as much as I've traveled this season so far. Like everyone throws a zillion miles an hour and everyone's got insane stuff. So maybe let's add a little bit of that to it. But they were also that good last year. And we had how many guys hit 30 home runs? Like 4 or 5 guys. So
Damn well, though, come June 1 regional, we'll be seeing those lower seam baseballs again. Balls will be flying.
That's what I'm saying. These things could get put back into play at any moment.
Do you think? Well, the schools are.
Dude, they rolled them out. I still remember they rolled them out for regional play in 2021, and
correct. And I played all the overs. So I had a buddy. I had a buddy tell me these are different baseballs. And I was like, okay, over.
How the hell do you guys know this crap? Leaving me in the red, hypothetical.
Lower seam baseballs, they create less friction in the air, and it's better with backspin. They travel.
That's really what happened in my playing career. I didn't have those.
Hey, Noah, you want to know something impressive? 14 career college home runs, dead bat era, dead ball era. You can just multiply that by 5. At least.
Yeah, it's a 5.
I really hit 70 career homers.
Oops.
2 of my homers were at Morehead State, where it's 250 feet down the right field line. So.
Dude, incredible. You posted another box score of that.
Allen Field strikes again, baby. 32-21 game. Who was it? Oh, I got to find this tweet now. Yeah, speaking of mid-major baseball, team played against Morehead State. I don't remember who it was, but they had 33 hits, 36 runs. What a box score.
Hey, did 33 hits and anybody not have one? I know you're a team first guy, but if your team has 33 hits and you had 6 at-bats and didn't have one, you got to be.
It was Marshall, 32 runs, 33 hits, 1 error. Nice. Morehead State, 15 runs, 15 hits, 6 errors.
I think the 11.7 Discord were playing Sherlock Holmes on that game. They're like, how is this possible? And then somebody went and found that there was 17 walks.
Yeah. That rocks.
Yeah. But yeah, let's do a little mid-majors.
Mid-major talk. All right, I'll start things off because I really want to. A lot of conversation, especially driven by me. UC Irvine, Omaha. Give me Peter the Eater. The Sun Belt, insanely deep. And I don't know if I personally have talked about it enough.
Disagree. Deep is what you're going to call the Sun Belt?
No. I said Sun Belt, usually very deep. I know that we usually talk about it a lot. Guys, this is a 3-horse race and everyone is kind of stinky poo-poo, huh? Because now I will say this. These 3
it's not their fault, dude. A lot of those players are now playing Power 4. The Sun Belt was such a feeder conference. It sucked.
I know we won't go there. Because it'll just make us sad, my purist. I was gonna say stinky poo-poo, but dude, Coastal, Troy, Southern Miss are so damn good that they absolutely, one of those 3, we have to get in Omaha. We just have to. They're so good, dude.
I'm almost willing to bet that one of them does.
Has to. Okay, so what do we do?
Because they're other than Coastal losing the series to Troy, and Southern Miss loses a random series to Marshall. Like those teams win 2 out of 3 or sweep every single week.
Yeah.
Like they just win. They win every series. And if you win every series, you're going to keep advancing in the postseason.
Yeah. I got to see either the Palace, the Riddle Pace, or freaking we have to see them in a regional hosting. Do you get 2 of the 3 hosts, or do you think it's just going to be one?
No, it'll be one host. It'll be Coastal. Like they're the only ones with like Southern Miss has put themselves back in the conversation. 31 RPI. They play at Troy the final weekend.
That'll
They
be sick.
play. Well, Arkansas State's right around 500 in conference play, and then Louisiana Lafayette, like they're back above 500. So, like the RPI could jump up enough maybe for Southern Miss, but like let's just say Coastal hosts, but like Southern Miss and Troy are going to be tough 2 seeds.
Yeah, man, I just think one of those 3 teams making a run. I know that 3 fan bases absolutely despise the living shit out of each other, but we need to rally around the Sun Belt and get one of these 3 teams to Omaha. We just have to. I think Coastal's pitching has probably like primed them as like the candidate to get there. And what Coach Null's done in his first year in the post Gary. You always talk about never wanting to be the guy after a legend, right? And Gary Gilmore is just a legend. But Kevin Schnall is a dude that is equally as tenured in just time spent in Conway, South Carolina. Man, what they have done has been spectacular. But never count out the Eagles. Don't you agree, Dimitri? Nope, neck still hurts, still asleep. Okay, don't count out the Eagles, guys. Southern Miss fans, I can't speak for Dimitri. He won't chime in, so do with that information as you will. And you know I'm a big fan of that bad man Skylar Meade down in Troy. So we got to get one of those 3 to Omaha. Mission.
I need to apologize to Southern Miss fans because on last podcast I said I think I said this is a total series where you can slip up playing at App State and lose 2 out of 3. They just walked in and swept them. Like great team. Tip of cap to Southern Miss.
JB Middleton shoved in game 1, allowing that bullpen to just be barely used. I think it might have been a complete game, but really impressed with the weekend that Irvine had. They were dead and buried. At least I called it in game 3 against Poly. And dude, I don't know if it was Irvine just stacking up hits or Poly just completely melted down in game 3, but I was impressed there. I think the Anteaters really have, just the goods. The lineup plays. Trevor Hansen, the game 1 duo of Riley Kelly, Ricky Ojeda is great. I don't know if there's been a game where it's really been like, Chris Stamos goes out there and he got touched up a little bit. Maybe we should have just started AJ Causey for the entire 6 innings. No, like I think that this has been a pretty good piggyback duo. And then Trevor Hansen's been a really good game 2 guy for the Eaters this season. So yeah, impressed with them. Guys, did we watch game 1 of DBU Louisiana Tech?
Oh my
16-15 win for the Bulldogs. Dude, they jumped out and pounced.
No, Dallas Baptist won the game.
DBU.
Yeah.
DBU. Yeah, sorry. DBU won 16-15. At Louisiana Tech, I was going the exact same way. Fumbled the bag, announcing who won the game. Louisiana Tech in the first inning pounced all over Micah Bucknam, the game 1 starter for DBU. Put up 7 on him in the first inning. Chased him. He only had
8 runs. It was 8 to 2 in the first inning.
Okay, so maybe it was 7 on Bucknam because they chased him with just 2 outs. He didn't even get through the first inning, and then DBU comes all the way back and wins that thing. And I think it was the 10th inning. That was incredible. Louisiana Tech takes game 2, DBU takes game 3. That's how that series went. But
you didn't even say Noah. You didn't even say the best part about Friday in Dallas Baptist La Tech. Dallas Baptist, top of the 10th, hits a grand slam to go up 4. La Tech hits a grand slam, bottom 10, and then Dallas Baptist ended up winning in the 12th inning. But yeah, just game full of fireworks. And I'll let you continue on your point there. But yeah, La Tech showed me a lot this week.
No,
They're a good team.
Yeah, I just wrapped up there.
Yeah, La Tech's a good team. They're sitting in third place in Conference USA after Western Kentucky gets swept by Florida International. That was something I did not see coming. Did not see it one bit. Western Kentucky's been so good all year, and to get swept by FIU is not a good look. But maybe they fit the hot, cold, hot.
Backbreaking to the Bowling Green Operation Bowling Green Regional.
Dead. But yeah, right now, Conference USA, you got Dallas Baptist, Kennesaw State in second, only a game back, and then La Tech, Western Kentucky. It's going to be a fun conference tournament, though. Dallas Baptist could fight their way into a hosting spot with a good showing these last 3 weeks plus conference tournament. And then, I think this is a two-bid league with a potential for a third if they win the conference tournament. Western Kentucky still at 48. Kennesaw State creeped up to number 52 in the RPI. So, this is far from over in CUSA.
Jack, your turn on mid-major takeaway.
Dude, did you guys see me slipping there?
It was Ben again with we had a jet sweep and then a running back going for the handoff, and then the quarterback just froze.
No. I just ran the fumble rooski. They didn't see the ball on the ground. I was giving you the hezzy like Demetrius. Was like, just kidding. I'm awake. All right, I found this one. I think D1 mid-majors tweeted out. I just tried to find the guy. Robert J. Lopinto tweeted out earlier today. He's a Fairfield baseball alum, a baseball junkie, and it looks like he's a financial advisor now. The Fairfield Stags have clinched their 26th straight conference series win, dating back to the regular season finale of 2019.
Nuts.
Fairfield, I love it. 26 in a row is nuts. Nuts. Fairfield, the Stags, my mid-major team of the week.
Love it. Dude, shout out when the Stags 2019, they were a 3 seed at Texas. It was unheard of to have a team from that conference be a 3 seed, and they did it.
That's dope. I'm sure it didn't go great, but this year,
they might have they might have won a game, or maybe, they definitely won a game. I think they might have almost beat Arizona State. That I don't remember. I don't know. There was a lot, but shout out the stat.
Yeah. You know what I'm predicting? I liked that one. I saw it on Twitter, and I grabbed it for this segment. But Luke Nomura walks it off against Quinnipiac. They win the series. I just have a feeling in my loins that Fairfield is going to be the 4 seed that Ben picks to upset someone this year in our field of 64 when the tournament's now. I can feel it. Ben loves a 4. Ben loves
there's plenty of 4s out there. Dude, there's plenty of 4s this year that could do it. Start looking at the Southland. Start looking at the SoCon. Start looking at the Big East.
We need a bounce back performance out of Ben, because Bryant last year.
Well, they were great. They've got a DeLongchamps on that team. Relax. They're great. They just ran into a buzzsaw with JMU, Carolina, and NC State. Ben, I think you should pick
regional.
You want to know?
That regional is so good.
I will forever pick a 4 seed to win a regional. It was funny. 2023, I promised the world that Oral Roberts would not win the Oklahoma State region. And they were the chalkiest
2021.
They were the chalkiest 4 seed in the history of the world. I was like, nope, it's not going to be Oral Roberts. It's going to be somebody else. I think I picked Army. Army to beat Virginia's regional.
Of course you did.
My 4 seed story of a pick to win a regional was 2021 Wright State. And if anybody that remembers what happened,
I think I was on that with you.
Wright State,
I think I was on it.
They
with
put
you.
up,
yeah,
they put up 10 runs on Tennessee. You would think that's pretty good. They were winning in the 9th inning, and then Drew Gilbert grand slam rips the heart out of them, and then they just lost game 2. They rolled over and died.
Mm-hmm. Dude. But do you see what just happened? It's the duality of man. Noah comes at you with all this brilliant breakdown. Now, granted, Ben knows his college baseball better than anyone I know, but Ben 100%. Why? Why? He couldn't take Oral Roberts because it was too chalky. He couldn't do it. Even though it's still taking an upset, he goes, no, I won't be the one. I won't do it. It's just the duality of man that I love so much from Ben.
The answer was right there for me. Like, just take the 58 RPI Oral Roberts with Randy Johnson out of the bullpen and like an All-American Jonah Cox, like playing against probably the weakest one
Yeah,
seed.
and Randy Johnson out of the bullpen wasn't even their best arm out of the pen
Exactly.
either.
And it was like Oklahoma State is the worst one seed host. No way that they win. No, give me the Army Black Knights in Charlottesville, and then they get run ruled twice.
And Ben's sitting there going, Ben watched like 3 other college baseball pundits pick Oral Roberts, and he was like, you know what? Fuck that. I know that Oral Roberts already beat Oklahoma State in midweek this year. Vengeance tour. Fuck Oral Roberts. And then the blowjob Bobs became the diaper darlings. And he's like,
yeah, I was like actually pissed off that Oral Roberts was the 4 seed.
That's so great.
That was good times. And then last year I was sold. Bryant had 14 seniors on the team. I was like, 8 of them pitching the bullpen. Sign me up.
Yeah. Dude, I actually had this conversation yesterday about that regional. If South Carolina doesn't get sent to NC State, where they have to face like arguably the greatest staff that we saw last year, Cole Messina had enough firepower to go to Omaha by himself. I really do believe that, but the seeding was just like it was such a tough matchup for them. And then obviously JMU was really, really good too. But like Cole Messina was like on one of those legacy runs. Because someone was talking to me about like that the Cody Clemens run that he went on to get him there. And like, how do we get back? How does the Texas team get back? Like, they need one guy to do that. I go, well, that's the beauty of this Texas team. They have 9 guys that play hero every night. But then it made me think. I was like, man, I get old giddy thinking about like just like in March Madness in college baseball, the field of 64. In 5 days, a non-baseball fan is going to know some obscure college baseball dude that'll become a legend. And it's just last year was Ohtani. Jack Caglione. Shout out to Dimitri. Fucking sleepy.
Dude, I don't think he's moved the entire pod.
Hasn't, bro. Dude, his neck is going to sound like a pencil breaking when he fixes it, dude. But yeah, should we do that before we leave? Give me your guy. Who's going to be the breakout star this year in Omaha?
In Omaha?
Or not even in Omaha.
Dude,
just
how about I have a better question to follow up after we answer this.
Yes.
Breakout star.
Who's going to be like, not in Omaha, like an attorney.
Breakout star in Omaha.
To get there.
Yeah.
Like, you know how there's always a guy like to just like on the march.
Yeah,
Dude,
like that.
I think it's somebody on Clemson. Like, because Clemson hasn't really had somebody step up in a way where it's like, oh, he's the best player on the team. Like they have signs of players, but I mean, somebody like Purify or Canarella or somebody could just hit 800 in regionals and super regionals and carry them. Yeah.
Like Oral Roberts had get him to Omaha and he's gonna go viral. Like, but that's cheating.
Wearing 00.
Oh my god,
Drew Titsworth. What had a cold plus 21-year-old beverage with Drew Titsworth's dad? Legendary Titsworth. Legendary.
Breakout star for the postseason.
NRA won. That's good.
Ben, what's your question? I'll think of this.
I got a very simple question for you guys. I got a very simple question.
I gotta buy time. I gotta think of all my favorite studs.
Oh, see, this is the difference between us. You're a breakdown. You're too smart for us. I want to shoot from the hip answer. Titsworth was the right
What about
answer.
like Caden Bodine? Could you see a Bodine just monster takeover?
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I was just thinking he was already like been on the scene. He's had like a step down, I think, of just like highlight after highlight, like he was at the beginning of last year. But
but you got to think
Monastery,
like college baseball.
Monastery.
That's a good
Monastery.
It's all too, right? Like something that like the sports world can attach themselves to, like a Titsworth.
Yeah,
Justin LeBron.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's
He's
already
the-
like a
yeah.
dog, and college baseball loves him, but like the sports world can go, yeah. He's Brown on the
Let me
diamond,
ask
too.
my question here real quick.
Go ahead.
Who is going to win the Golden Spikes, fellas?
Yeah, shit.
There is
man.
nobody
I don't
that's
know.
like separated themselves yet.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. Because usually it's the home run guy, the guy that runs away in the home run
Mason
category. No one's really
Neville.
doing it.
I think it's going to come down to either Jared Jones, Drew Burress, or Vahiva Aloy.
Yeah.
One of those three is going to separate themselves the next 3.5 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's no one really like on like Texas is like Kimball Schuster's hitting 330 with 12 homers. Ryan Galvan's hitting 330 with 11 homers, but they're not enough to grab your attention. So it doesn't necessarily have to go to like the best team like it kind of has in the last couple of years. I like Aloy. That's a fun pick. Justin LeBron still feels like they're in the conversation. How about the dark horse? I say dark horse. He was the reigning SEC Player of the Week. A rough week this week. If A&M goes on like a legacy run, well, no, because it's got to be close to 400. I was going to say, what if Laviolette finishes with like 20 plus jacks and it's just a sexy name?
My
I like Jared. I like Jared Jones. That's a sexy answer. It's a good one.
My postseason breakout star is a little shortstop with the nickname Monster. I'll go Stephen Milam.
Yeah.
Like he already lived up to the billing in the postseason last year, and he was an absolute stud against North Carolina. They just didn't get past the Red Hot Tar Heel squad. If they get to Omaha, like he's going to be a star. So I'll go Stephen Milam there.
I like Stephen
Golden
Milam.
Spikes.
That's a good one. And he always.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say Milam's a good answer too because he always does it in the big moments every freaking time. Dating back to Hoover last year, regional, super regional, like, and then this year it just feels like every time he hits a homer, it's like, oh, cool, like he did it in the 8th or 9th in a clutch spot. That's sick. That's a good pick. I like that.
I mean, Ben Upton literally labeled him Pablo Sandoval of LSU baseball. I don't know if you can give a better title.
Pablo Sanchez, not Sandoval.
Pablo Sanchez. Oh, God damn it. Yeah, it's Sanchez. I don't know how I did that. That was just total brain fart. 2 hours of potting.
It's 11.7 after dark. I've cursed more in this pod than I have ever. We've lost.
Golden Spikes. I think I've turned to the fact that for everything that you guys have talked about, you know, there's not a guy that's pulled away offensively. There's no star like Galvan and Gasparino are great pieces on that Texas team. But I think you just turn to a guy that has separated himself on the mound further than anybody else, Liam Doyle. I would say Liam Doyle is my Golden Spikes pick right now. Plus, I'm a sucker for pitching in general. I don't think it should be a hitter-only award. This is a perfect year to prove that it's not just a hitter award. Give it to the guy that separated himself from the rest of the country, Liam Doyle.
Great pick.
I want to do.
Yeah, he's somebody.
I want to do another mid-major round. Ben, Mr. Quarterback. Can we do another mid-major round?
Let's do it quick because I'm about to cramp. My left hamstring is on fire.
Dude, have you guys seen how I've been sitting? I'm like a little kid in that.
No, let's save mid-major round 2 for the midweek podcast. Unless you have something to say quick.
I do. Austin Smith came out of the bullpen in a rubber match for San Diego against Gonzaga, and he's a two-way guy, granted, but just eye black on the mound rocks.
It really does. That is a quote right there. I agree.
I'm glad you went. And my favorite part about what you just said is that Dimitri was asleep for San Diego. Todd. I love that.
I did have one more that I do want to talk about. That
dude, don't extend.
Right now, we're good.
That picture of shotgun that he took of George Mason in Rhode Island teaming up to tarp the field. That is college baseball. That is everywhere outside of the Power Four. 95% of other college baseball teams. That is what we're doing every single day. I loved it. That was perfect.
Blue collar as hell.
Oh my god!
I gotta tell you, Noah. I said, don't go again. You just threw the fastball. Don't double up on the heater. And you said, Jack, I got
Picture
100
of the
with that
year in college baseball.
And you went to the 8-10 conference where it just means more. Shotgun sprattling. How about that at the hap in the facts? Don't look now. George Mason is cruising. You want my breakout star? Am I Golden Spikes? Go ahead and mic drop this shit. James Quinn Irons, Golden Spikes, College World Series final MVP. Aaron Judge, better than that bitch in New York. Give me Quinn Irons and the bats. Great segue, Noah.
Great segue, great ending. Let's try to stop this exactly at 2 hours. So it's 5 seconds. Thank everybody for listening. Fun weekend. We love you all. I'm going to try not
Subscribe
to
and
cramp right
follow.
now. Subscribe and follow.